Ministry of Works said via its Twitter account a short while ago that the landslide has been cleared. Now, there were reports of flooding in parts of East Trinidad. However, we understand that the situation wasn't as bad as in previous years. We spoke via Skype to the CEO of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, who gave us an update on how the floods affected parts of the country.
Trinidad and Tobago, as you know, it's in the rainy season. We have had an impact to the flooding. Most of the areas affected were like the Tunapuna Regional Corporation. We had the Rima Borough Corporation. We had the Sawa Laventil Regional Corporation. We had Tobago, Tima, for example. We had the Chaguanas Borough Corporation. We had the Cuba Tavaki Talparo Corporation. These were the main areas that were affected. In particularly, the Tunapuna Regional Corporation, we had quite a lot of flooding in areas like Coconut Drive, Sam Road, St. Joseph, UE Campus, on the Churchill Roosevelt Highway, for example, Savannah Drive, Orange Grove, Illuminat around KFC, in Curet, at the intersection with the Churchill Roosevelt Highway. We had North Street, Tacarigua, Princeton areas, Elizabeth Avenue, Valsine. We also had an Oropoon Gardens, Tiki Post. There was a river there that was overflowing. We had houses with roofs blown off, for example. We had, for example, a house flooding in First Avenue. Pumps and bamboo, number 2 and number 3, worked effectively to reduce some of the water. We had a Rima. We had 3 reports of roofs being blown off at Rima, 2 at Broadway and 1 at Dan Street. In Sawa Laventil, we had a landslide in the North Coast Road, very close to the lookout. I know that the Ministry of Works has been on that. We have in Tobago, Tima, there were 2 reports of residential flooding in Lambo, reports in landslide in Moriah, Plymouth, and in Pembroke. And in the Chaguanas area, we had house flooding, for example, in Enterprise. Most of the flooding was in Enterprise. And 1 house that was flooded in Maruga, for example, in the Princeton area. And we had some severe flooding in Fletcher's Road, in Todd's Road, and Caparo, some street flooding. But most of the water subsided or is currently subsiding. We had a helicopter reconnaissance, and we noted that there was just a little bit of water next to Holiday Inn Express, and the traffic was moving quite freely on the Churchill Roosevelt Highway headed east as well as west. So that we are not surprised that you would have this heavy water when you have heavy rainfall. We know that the rainy seasons, experts indicated that up until August, we wouldn't have as much rain, but there would be periods of heavy rain, and this is our rainy season. UPM was very, very happy that a number of the first responding agencies, for example, in the corporations, the Ministry of Works, for example, in the landslides, their response rates have been much improved. A lot of the drainage that we saw has been more effective this year because water ran off pretty quickly. The Caroni River was not overflowing. It was pretty good in terms of its runoff. And the pumps at number 2 and number 3 were working effectively. The ODPM is very happy that there was a lot of calls to the ODPM with respect to what's being done. And we are satisfied that the response has been pretty good with respect to this first, what we should say, for the season. It is probably the first time we have had over 65 incidents of reported flooding, but no serious incidents in terms of persons affected, houses affected, livestock affected, or any sort of persons marooned otherwise. There was some traffic pileup just south of Port of Spain, but this was due to that.